Hi, welcome back to our home with Mayor Sendzik. It's Mayor Walter Sendzik, and I just want to thank you for tuning in. We are heading into December, the last month of 2020, and what a calendar year it's been so far. But I just want to thank everybody for what they've done through the fall as we've been dealing with COVID-19 in our community. The shows that you've watched over the fall have really shone a light on businesses, on organizations, community groups, and just people who are doing wonderful things here in the city of St. Catharines. And I can't be more proud of how our community has risen to the challenges that we've faced as a community. We're all in this together. You're seeing the numbers, and as the numbers of COVID play out in our community, I got to say, a lot of the efforts to keep it contained has been because of you and what you've done. You've listened to the public health experts in our community talking about keeping that social distance, that making sure you're washing your hands, making sure we're wearing our masks, and also it's that social network that you're keeping really tight. And as we head into the holidays, it's important that we continue to be mindful of that exchange in terms of making sure that we're keeping our social networks as tight as possible. And for our Jewish community, Happy Hanukkah, and for the Christian community, Merry Christmas, and also a joyous Kwanzaa for those of the African community in St. Catharines, Niagara. And as we talk today, we're going to be talking about what's happening at the farmers market, and as well we're going to be talking about the Great Holiday Food Drive. And that's why I'm wearing my festive sweater today, because it's all things December. And so my first guest is a member of the St. Catharines team. Deanna Chakarova was and has been working for the city of St. Catharines for the last 8 years. Those of you who go to the market, you'll be familiar with Deanna. She's the face of what's going on in our farmers market, and they've done an amazing job since COVID has been in our community and how they've adjusted. They were the first market to open up here in Niagara after COVID had presented itself in the community, and really it was the farmers market, trying to get the farmers' food to your tables. And Deanna has really been the lead on that. She has a passion for food and nutrition, and it aligns with her role as a community and market coordinator with the city of St. Catharines. And she's also on the board of directors with the Farmers Market of Ontario. So, Deanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's rather cold out there, but inside it's really warm.
It is.
And so you also keep the market warm, and it's a place where people of our community for generations have gathered to purchase the foods that are coming in from our surrounding farms. And tell us just a bit about how the market experience has been in the fall for what you've seen as the market coordinator.
Yes, so the market itself moved inside from the outside location about middle of October. It's a bit of a transition, trying to move all the vendors into new spacing and allowing for distancing still between the vendors and the public to safely deliver everything. It's a lot of working with the vendors, which they're very grateful and nice to work with, because their priority as well is making their business sustainable, right, and me providing a place for them and safe delivery to the public. The market building itself is nicely heated, so people can come in and enjoy the happy shopping without freezing outside.
So do you find that there's lineups now that you have, because in the sort of summer, fall, when you had some outdoor vendors, you were able to be. So how is the move inside to all the vendors? Are you experiencing lineups, or is it pretty much a good flow of people moving through?
It is pretty much a good flow of people moving through. We do have people at the front entrance and inside the market monitoring to make sure there's no congestion flowing through. We also provide a tent cover outside of the market building in case that there is a lineup, so that the public isn't standing in the elements.
Okay.
But we rarely have to close off entry into the market, because we're able to keep everyone regulated and moving around and ensuring that they're distancing themselves.
And that's a key. So for people who may not have been to the market yet, and I hope a lot of people are coming back to the market, it's you have one point of entry, and then you follow a pathway, if you will, that then takes you out to another exit point, correct?
Correct. There's public health regulations for us to operate is to have one entrance and one exit. We also have arrows on the floor with one-way traffic flow so that people they can circle back around and go another walk around the market as much as they want to. They can only go one way, and this helps the control as well, that people are constantly moving and not stopping into one area or crossing paths. And
right, just trying to keep that
safe
point
distancing.
of contact, which we've been talking about. Now, when you look at pre-COVID, it was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Post or in COVID, it's Thursday, Saturday?
Correct. So unfortunately right now we haven't reopened on Tuesdays. We have changed the hours as well. We were operating Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are now 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thursdays and Saturdays only. And the transition with that, so this Saturday market is going pretty good. A lot of the customers are coming out. We're thankful to have new customers coming out as well. We're finding that the people that are moving into this area are slowly hearing about the farmers market and stopping on by. Thursdays itself is still a little bit slow. We encourage people to come out to the Thursday market. There is a large amount of vendors that are still there, including fresh produce, food to take home with you. And because it is slower, there's less people around. So if somebody's feeling a little bit antsy with the epidemic and being around people, Thursday is a great option to come out.
And there's a lot of parking, and I think that's what some people don't realize is that on a Thursday, because that return to work for those working in office environments hasn't obviously materialized yet, there's an ample amount of parking close to the market on Thursdays. So some people associate Thursdays with, oh, I can't find parking in close to the market, so I'm not going to go on a Thursday. But if you really want to get out to the market and, like you said, do it in a less congested way where there's not as many, Thursday is probably your better day.
It definitely is. As I said, we do have a large amount and this same kind of variety of vendors that are in with the offices around the area and people working from home still. They're not planning, unfortunately, to come back till possibly about March. So there is a lot of parking spaces around City Hall. There's a parking lot and a parking garage just straight across the street on King Street, right from the market itself. And of course, parking is free before 9 a.m. So if you come in the first couple of hours of the market, you don't even have to worry about paying.
Yeah, it's a great way to start your day.
Yeah.
So in terms of, you've added a new element, which is winter in the market, because it's so cold out there right now. We know winter's here. Winter in the market. Tell us a bit about that and how that continues to support the local vendors in our community.
Definitely. So the Winter at the Market started back in November 5th and runs until the 17th of December. So we did do the Winter at the Market last year. It was running alongside the Tuesday and Thursday market. This year, with distancing and not being able to have the same amount of vendors inside the market itself, it was decided upon to hold a special market just for these artisans and small local businesses that don't have the opportunities right now because their craft shows and Christmas markets have all been canceled.
Right. So that's the important thing to talk about. So this is a way for people to support local vendors, local artisans, but it also helps the artisans because you're right, there were so many craft shows that took place between sort of middle of November and middle of December. They've all ceased largely this year. And so if you're really looking for those one-of-a-kind gifts, is this the place you would be coming to?
It definitely is. And there's such a large variety of different things to choose from for all ages. There is handmade toys to puzzle boxes to local VQA wine, shelf-stable food to take home to do your own baskets at home, toiletry products such as cupcakes, bath bombs, knitted items, quilts. There's a professional photographer there that has her own artisan series. So there's home decor. There's so much there to choose from. And again, as you said, the things that you get from there are going to be unique. There's a very, very limited amount of resellers into there. I have welcomed, of course, some of our local small consultant businesses, such as Norwex and Sweet Legs, such like that, that people are used to, but really focusing on these one-of-a-kind artisans and expanding such a variety of opportunity for gifts.
So this is Thursdays from when to when again?
Thursdays until Thursday, December 17th, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay, again, ample parking downtown. You can come in. Obviously, there would be paid parking. It's not a lot of money, but there's some paid parking that you would have to, but you come in. How many vendors can people expect to be there on any given Thursday?
On the Winter at the Market
Yes,
series, I have 39 vendors in there.
That's a lot. So 39 vendors. So for people who are looking at, okay, I want to give something unique, but I also want to support the local economy, this is one of those shopping destinations that really can help not just the community, but it also helps the local artisans, and it's an opportunity to keep more money in our our economy is what we're looking to do, is support our local economy. So in terms of the festivity side, so we had Santa Claus at the market November 20th to 23rd, and then, or not the market, they were at James Street, corner of James. And so what other festive things are you planning as part of Winter in the Market? What can people expect?
So outside of the Market Square itself and the Winter at the Market and the St. Catharines Farmers Market, the City of St. Catharines has also started the Tree of Angels, which is something that is held every year. So it started on November 12th and goes into the middle of December. What we've added this year, which is a great opportunity if you don't want to come out to one of the 6 different locations to drop an unwrapped gift for a child down, is you can actually text a monetary donation. So they've set up a text number, which is 20222, and you text GIVE to it, and it'll respond back with the denomination that you would like to give. Again, there are still 6 locations that are accepting unwrapped gifts.
Okay.
And these gifts, last year we gave enough gifts for over 3,000 children in our community.
Wow.
So your one unwrapped gift for a child under the age of 16 years old goes a long way in our community.
That's amazing. So I just want to say thank you as mayor to a team member. I want to say thank you for what you're doing to make our community safe and open and welcoming at the market, and all the different programs that you're bringing to life. I think you've shown a lot of ingenuity and understanding of how do we support one another. So Deanna, thank you for that, and I hope to see you at the market. I hope to see you at the winter market as well. And these are ways that we can support our farmers, we can also support our local artisans, and we can have some beautiful, one-of-a-kind things under the tree for our loved ones. So hope to see you at the market. Right after the break, we're gonna have Betty-Lou Souter talking about the Great Holiday Food Drive and how that is gonna look different this year. But as Deanna was touching on, how do we still bring that Christmas spirit to those in need here in St. Catharines? So you don't want to miss that. Hi, and welcome back to Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. And we just heard what's happening at the market and how that's being brought to life in a different way for the holiday season. And now talking about the community and what's happening in the community, we have Betty-Lou Souter, who's a friend of the show. She's been on a number of times to talk about the impact of community services that are in our community, and community care has been, it's 101 years now?
101 years.
101 years in St. Catharines, and Betty-Lou is an outstanding leader, leads with compassion, with empathy, but also has a very firm understanding of what's happening in the community. And so it's great to have you back on the show, Betty-Lou.
Well,
it's always
thank
an
you.
honor to have you here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You bring great insight, and you also have a lot of experience working on different organizations. You've been on the board of the Trillium Foundation, Pathzone, the Niagara Workforce Planning Board, Niagara Health. So you bring a broad spectrum of experience. And what we're going through in the last almost year, 10 months, has really challenged our community. And as we head into the holiday season, I think it's important for our community to know, sort of from your perspective, how has COVID impacted what you've seen in terms of the need in St. Catharines, especially over the fall?
Well, certainly, when you say 10 months, I certainly sort of did a little bit, wow, has it been that long? Like, 2020 is just disappearing so quickly. But, Yes, it definitely has an impact, and I'm beginning to see, and I think all of us on the we're not considered a frontline worker, we're an essential worker. So, which there's a distinct difference. You learn all kinds of terminology. That's one thing. Your vocabulary certainly has changed,
Yes.
and you've learned how to pivot pretty quickly in this day and age. But we're finding now, Walter, that people are starting to hit the wall, and it's really disturbing. I think the mental health piece, there's bad behaviors. I think the staff, are each having their turns, having bad days, and I understand that. And it's trying to keep spirits up. And we want to create as much normalcy. There's a whole new vocabulary out there. As I said, normalcy is a word that you hear all the time for everybody, particularly the families and particularly the children, because the children really are always the innocent victims of poverty as well. But when this happens, the complexity of the issue and understanding the issues are very different. And so I'm seeing now more people who are, is desperate the word, or disenfranchised, or, like, what am I going to do? What is Christmas going to look like? And you don't have the answers. None of us have the answers. And, through my connections with healthcare, I was just talking to a colleague yesterday from the Niagara Health System, and just saying, what's it like? And she said, Betty-Lou, you have no idea. And, I'm on the board of the Shaver now, and just seeing it from that perspective, and how those people who are on the front lines, what they're dealing with, it's challenging. So the community has been extremely responsive, I'll say that. I was absolutely gobsmacked, for lack of a better word, at the beginning, because everybody said, a lot of people came to us and said, you need the money now. Who knows? We'll be finished by Christmas. We all thought when we started this journey that it was going to be over in 6 weeks, 2 months. And we've had a lot of people come in and say, okay, let me help you now. And some really wonderful people came in and did that, which was tremendous, because, as you know, I was looking yesterday, we're up to 15, third-party fundraisers that have been canceled that keep us going. So people understanding that and wanting to make a difference and wanting to create that stability for everybody is significant. And it impacts us on everything we do in our lives. The stability is really important, because there is light at the end of I don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a little bit of a flicker, but there is hope, and we will get through this. We've got through things before, and it's working together. And as you know, within healthcare, as I have been for many involved with the healthcare sector, through my volunteer work, that there's always been, we had MRSA, we had C. difficile, we had SARS, we had all those things. We get through these. This is a lot worse, but we'll get through this. But we have to follow the protocols, and I think that's the hardest part.
Right, and I think community care has done an outstanding job of even setting up the protocols within its own facilities and making sure that you're still able to get the food out to those who need it, you're still able to get the services to those who need it, but you're protecting your staff, and you're also protecting very vulnerable clients that you have as well.
Absolutely, and you're also protecting the donor. So, we're all in this together, as we say many times. So we don't have the ability to social distance within the building. So we've had to create a little kiosk, so where people come, and we have an intercom that they talk through in the door, and we offer them, we have some staples in a bag. Yes, they don't have the freedom of choice, but they do have, we'll tell them what we have on special, blue light special that day. Would you like this? Would you like that? And so that was a bit of an adjustment for some people, and some people still would rather say, no, I would, they would like to be able to choose their own. We can't do that right now.
Right.
I would say 99% of the people understand that and are accepting it, but there's always some people. And I always say, call me and we'll sit down and have a conversation. Let's see if we can work through that piece. So we do that. So we've had to do that. We've had to look at certainly our clothing program. Once again, we don't have the ability to social distance. We also didn't have within the building, but we also didn't have the ability to take clothing, and we have to isolate it. Who's going to, for at least 72 hours, and you have to sort it. Storage is an issue, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're doing now is we have people fill in a form, and we give them, their 5 top choices of clothing, and we put them all together. And then we put them in a bag and we isolate them, and then they have the ability to come and pick them up at the door. So we're doing everything that we can, all the programs that we can, but somewhat differently.
Right.
And so But it's working, and Christmas is the next one. You know, as we're all coming up to Christmas, we really had to make some hard decisions on that one. And because of the sheer volume of people that we see, like, you know, we helped over 13,000, well, closer to 14,000 individuals last year. So our planning started way back in the summer on what we were going to do. So we had to make some very difficult choices as to how we were going to, distribute Christmas this year. And we sat down and had conversations, and we listened to our clients who were concerned, with toys and things like that, how many people are going to touch them and this kind of stuff. So we thought, this year, why don't we make sure every child under the age of 12 gets a gift card for $50. And they will have that gift card, and then if the parent takes that gift card, they can buy something to make sure there's something under the tree. But we had to buy those gift cards really early in the year by volume, and then we get a volume discount. So, we say we're taking your cash to turn it into cards and to turn it into cans for food, because we have the ability, buying in bulk, you get more, obviously. We know what the needs are that particular day. And with Christmas, we have the ability to ensure that every child is treated equally. And I think that's the most important thing, that one child doesn't get a whole bunch and another child doesn't get very much. And so it was a challenge. It was a tough decision, because I've been involved, long before I was involved with community care, I was involved with the Baycourt Club distributing toys through, and that was my job, the Christmas Toy Bureau. So it was a pretty hard one to make, but I think it was the right one to make. And the other thing people have to remember too is we give out toys all year long. We have a birthday cupboard if children are sick or there's some, incident in their lives that they need a little joy. We have a Christmas cupboard where we call it our birthday cupboard, and we make sure there's a toy for children if they have a special occasion that they need it, and parents identify that. So if people still feel the importance of giving toys, we'll isolate them, and we'll make sure that throughout the year that children are going to be receiving toys. So as much as the focus isn't on toys, if that's how you connect Christmas to you,
right,
they'll be used. I can assure you they'll be used.
That's amazing. It's just so many different ways of looking at how families are going to be celebrating the holidays, and how you've taken all that into consideration as an organization. So one of the big events is the Great Holiday Food Drive. This would have been the 16th annual in terms of how it traditionally has come about. Traditionally, you'd have 610, you'd have 105.1.
105.7.
105.7. I'm going to get in trouble for that. And 97.7 Hits FM.
Yeah, all Bell media stations.
All the local Bell stations would be at Market Square. The last couple of years, they've been at Market Square, and they've been the buses come through, the people stop by. You have so many stories of people coming with checks, thousands of dollars of checks coming in, people dropping off money, and it was all such a huge, as you said, fundraising opportunity for community care, for our community to get into the holiday spirit and give back. This year it's different. So tell us what you have planned for this year to keep the spirit of the holiday food drive intact.
Well, and it's so important, Walter, because we always say, however, that's our barometer, how we do at the Great Holiday Food Drive, how we're going to do in the end. So we've been meeting with Bell Media on a weekly basis, and they're trying to come up, and of course they have restrictions for themselves through Bell Media, how they have to manage. And so we're calling it now the Great Holiday Food Express. There'll be a presence at Market Square, and thanks to you for inviting us to Market Square several years ago, because it's sort of a nice focus for the city. And so it's going to be called the Great Holiday Food Express. And community care will have their truck there all day. So for drop-offs, it'll be a drive-through only, if that's how you choose to donate. But there's various locations across the city that Bell Media is working with. And St. Catharines Transit is taking a bus, and that's the Holiday Express, and they're going to be stopping at various locations throughout the community. That we're just finalizing those right now. So there's going to be a place that you'll be able close to you. So if it's difficult for you to get down to Market Square, that'll happen. And of course, cash is always greatly received, and you do that through the community care website. and we'll be there accepting cash as well, but we won't be able to. And we're asking if you come down to Market Square with cash that you put it in an envelope with your address in it, so we don't have to have that touch piece if you need a receipt. So online is always the easiest way for people, but if people just periodically want to come by, and we always have somebody that comes by at 5 o'clock in the morning, and God love him, he always puts money in an envelope and sticks it in the jar, and it's a significant amount of money, and he always says, nope, this is just from me, I'm anonymous, leave me alone.
A lot of beautiful people like that in our community.
And there's more and more of those, I think, than we realize.
Yeah, and I think that's what the situation that we're in today has shown us, is that there's a lot of angels in our community who put their hand up and don't look for the recognition, but when someone's in need, they got their hand up to say, I can help. And so a couple of ideas. Great Holiday Food Express. So one thing is, put all your food in your trunk, come to City Hall. This way, you're in your car, pop your trunk. The workers will come out, grab it out of your trunk, put it into the truck. Great way of doing it. It's cash for cards and cans. So donate online. If you want to come down to Market Square on December 11th, you want to drop off some cash, know that the cash is going to cards. Those cards will go to families. Their gift cards will go to families and children, as well as the cans, because as we were talking just before the show, you have a better insight into what families need. So instead of sometimes dropping off bulk items, it's also important, cash allows you as an organization to better purchase the foods that are actually needed. There could be baby formula, it could be things like sanitary needs for your clients, things that we may not be aware of as individuals, but you have an insight into. So cash goes to cards, goes to cans as well.
And if whatever you feel, and as some people, if it's important for them to give food or a toy, we'll gladly accept it, And if they want to buy a card, we're asking that they be in $25 increments so that we can work them through, but every child will get a $50 one, and hopefully we'll try, and we're trying to keep the economy going in the community as well. So as opposed to, people doing stuff that comes from other places, trying to
keep it as local as possible.
Keep it as local as possible.
So Betty-Lou, I want to say thank you to you and your team for yet
you.
again showing us that how much our community can care through community care. Great Holiday Food Drive Express taking place on December 11th. Lot to give thanks for, but let's make sure that we're also looking after one another, and community care is one of those places that you can make a difference in so many lives here in St. Catharines. So until the next show, I hope you all have a beautiful holiday season. Keep taking care of yourself, because that's what's made us strong and will continue to make us stronger. So enjoy the winter season.